Alright, so I'm mostly done the build up to this point. Not gonna lie, it's pretty frustrating. There are some issues I will go through during the build. If you follow along, I'm gonna discuss a couple things that I missed, things that I screwed up and had to redo, and then some issues I found with the front end and the height of the suspension that you may want to check out if you are building one or you've already built one. In the first build video, I did not put on these ball studs. I forgot to do that during the confusion of reading the manual, installing the ball studs for the linkages here. So I've added that to the beginning of the video here. So that was my fault, pretty annoying. Sorry about that if there was any confusion in part one. The issue I did find with the front end is I was a big dummy and I installed one of these lower pieces here flipped. And so that caused an issue with binding on this lower linkage here. However, it tells you to make the shock 67 millimeters. And I'm finding that if you do make them 67, there's an incredible amount of binding at full droop. The steering definitely binds quite a bit, and if you push it up, easily flips from side to side. Now my concern with that is when it's driving and say you know, right rear squats all the way, front left drops all the way, your steering is going to bind and vice versa. So whatever full droop you have in the front end during cornering, there's going to be binding. And so I've set this with the shortest linkages here. I've set this at around 64 millimeters. There's still a bit of binding, and I've checked everything here to make sure. And as you can see, this is 64, if I tap this, it's not steering, it's not flipping from side to side easily. It should, and it definitely does when I preload a little bit. So if I just hold the chassis and preload this, even at 64, so say we preload it a little bit here. So I'm starting to think that in order for this to have the most efficient steering, I'm going to have to put a spacer inside here. Even though this is 64, I'm going to have to put a spacer inside here. And so that really bothers me, the fact that from the factory, if you were to put it all together and not sort of check this, you're going to get binding. Now, go check yours, be sure that you don't have this going on, because it'll definitely affect the handling. As I said, push it up a little, easily clears. So that tells me, like, all my linkages are free. It's just this setting here and the length. And this car definitely is going to do full droop at some point under load. So that's annoying. We're going to have to take care of that. But for now, we'll just leave it and get everything else together, to be honest. This has been a really long build. And just between other projects, work, and getting this thing together, it's taken me too long. And I'm getting a little frustrated at that. So we'll just keep moving. Tweak things here and there as we go. But I definitely got to get the body going and the electronics in. We definitely want to keep moving on this. So that's just my thoughts on this now. So the rest of the video will be the final part of the build up to this point. So all in all, a beautiful car. Just a little frustrating with some of the issues with the manual. Should have gone together smoother. Pretty annoying. But I'm happy it's done up to this point, and now we can move along. Next couple videos will be electronics, body. I won't bore you with everything. This has already been long enough. And then we'll get it on the track, consult with some drift gurus at the local track, and get this thing set up.